In the great game of survival, this is checkmate.
I knew you wouldn't leave me.
Shut up and run.
You sure you want to do this?
I have to. For my mother.
Hi superfans, this is Travis Johnson, your guest host on Supernova TV, and today we're talking to Christian Rivers, the director of the blockbuster new sci-fi adventure Mortal Engines. It's your first directorial feature, but you did a lot of work on the Hobbit films and a lot of Wingnut Productions, going back 20 odd years. So how did you find the transition from that position to this position?
Well, it's nothing can really prepare you for when you're suddenly there and the buck's going to stop with you. Like even work, so the scale of working with the scale of the crew wasn't that daunting because I'd worked with, big crews and lots of extras and actors. But when the final decision rests with you, that's where the fear comes in, because you ultimately have to be the one fully responsible for making the decision that's going to end up on screen.
So let's go back to how you came on board the project. How did that develop? And why did you go like, yes, this is going to be my debut?
I'd been working in various capacities as a second unit director, and I'd done a short film, and I was actually in the process of setting up co-writing a lower budget sort of film, which is the next logical step that you take before you do something like this. And I was driving into work one day, and Peter called me on the phone and said, "Look, we're running out of time on Mortal Engines. I don't feel like I've got the energy to take it on just after finishing the 3 Hobbit films. Would you like to do it?"
I never get calls like those.
No, and they're scary ones when you do. Because I was, I was like, well, hold on. Every part of me logically thinking was like, well, you should do something smaller and then do something bigger. But I also had to say yes.
I can see why.
Yeah.
So what kind of shape was the project in when you came on board, and what did you bring to it in general?
It was in a slightly muddled state. I mean, Peter had bought the rights to it back in 2008, and he'd kicked it off with a whole lot of previs that had been done, pre-visualization, 3D animation, tests, and a lot of artwork, but then it had been put on the shelf pretty much for the whole production of the Hobbit films. And so when I came on board, there'd been a lot of previs that had been based on the book. There was a whole lot of artwork, but none of it had really found a sort of a focus. It was all very steampunk. It was all sort of very much based on the books, or trying so hard not to be steampunk that it was complete fantasy science fiction. So it sort of, I sort of came on board and just tried to shepherd it into a sort of an area that we knew, wasn't going to be steampunk, but was going to honour the character of the books, and just sort of start driving a design process, which we didn't really know where it was going to end up, but it's led to here.
Okay. What do you find the most challenging part of taking on the directorial role?
All of it. The responsibility of all the decisions you have to make. The responsibility of gaining the trust of the actors so that they know they're in safe hands. And the hardest mental thing to do is to stay objective on set to the shot that you're getting. You're trying to be creative. You're trying to keep an open mind so that you can be as innovative and as efficient as possible with the storytelling. And with all the pressures of getting through the shooting day and what's coming up next, it's very hard to look at that shot with the objectivity of someone who's just sitting in a movie theatre, and whether it's believable or not.
So coming off that, so when you're in production, you're deep into it, and the big machine is in motion. Like, can you try and keep a bird's eye view on the production, or do you just have to deal with whatever's in front of you?
We kind of have to do both, and on a show of this complexity, I mean that's very, 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 very hard. And I mean, I had a lot of support. I mean, I had Peter and Fran and Philippa. I had great producers. I had a great art department. The crew across the board were all very much there to support me and sort of, you know, help manage a lot of that stuff in the background so that I could just focus on what I was shooting on the day.
Finally, what are you hoping people get out of Mortal Engines? What do you hope they leave the cinema with?
I just hope they leave. I just hope they leave the cinema, you know, having been taken on a wonderful journey, an emotional and exciting journey in a new world with new characters. I mean, that's why we make films, is to take people to other worlds, and we're sort of getting. I know I'm getting tired of the repeated worlds and the repeated stories now, and so. I just hope they come out and have really enjoyed the 2 hours that they sat in the theatre.
Fantastic.
More importantly, though, I hope they want to go back and see it again.